The parents of Floyd feeling to be on his side, as much as his wife loved him. I mean, he really has everything going against him.
Thank you very much. I think that's a wrap. We're here again in the morning.
In 2003, Mondo and Ciara grow up fast when Ciara becomes pregnant and gives birth to their daughter, Juliet.
I am.
Mondo and Ciara were innocent teenagers. You know, she'd be doing her homework sometimes and Mondo would be there, and they were kind of getting intimate and getting close, and eventually they were doing the deed, which is mad because I can't believe it. You know, they were going to school age, and they were doing the bold thing.
I'm not going.
Why not?
Because there's nothing wrong with me.
Well, we let the doctor decide that, shall we?
I'm not going and you can't force me.
I'm not letting this go, Ciara.
Mom, please.
No, Ciara.
Please. Mom, please, don't. I know what's wrong. Mom, I'm pregnant.
Ciara got pregnant at 14, and of course Gina was up the walls and, you know, praying for miracles and every sort of thing, and of course it was all Mondo's fault. It wasn't my daughter's fault. Nothing to do with her at all.
Beautiful. She's beautiful.
I remember doing that scene because we actually had a 3-day-old child at the time to come and play baby Juliet. Baby Aaron actually played baby Juliet. It was a boy, and I just remember, you know, having the child in it just helped with the performance as well. And how they got the umbilical cord as well. They used empty sausage meat, which is creative.
Oh no, look what we did. Look what we did. Isn't she beautiful?
Yeah. Just like her mother. The situation isn't ideal. He was living in a bedsit with Ray, a horrible little bedsit, and then moved into a more horrible little bedsit to make his home with Ciara.
Here, why don't you get up? I'll make you some coffee.
Because I'm tired. Amanda, you should have come home earlier.
Couldn't. It was busy.
Yeah, good night.
That's where the beginning of the end was then for Ciara, because that's not really what she wanted. She wanted a proper upbringing for the child. And then sadly, she left with the baby to go to her Auntie May's house in England.
I'm your dad. And you know, dads and daughters. That's something special. And nobody can ever touch that.
What the writers were doing there were kind of turning the stereotype around a little. So it was one of those rare stories where the fella sticks around and tries to do right, which I thought worked really well.
Laura and Louise are here. They want to give her a present.
Just give me one more minute.
The public really warmed to it, you know, and especially after that scene as well. The amount of text that I got at the time, you know, oh Jesus, I was bawling, crying, watching the telly last night. Yeah, because it really was a nice little scene.
While Ciara breaks up her family, Renee Phelan's adopted daughter arrives looking for the mother that gave her away when she was young.
This is Renee.
I think it may have been Heather, after her adoptive father passed away, went in search of her biological mother, and it was a very, very tender story of the two of them coming to meet each other, and that was a wonderful story.
My biological father, I assume he's not your husband?
No. He's someone I knew when I was younger.
Do you keep in touch with him at all?
No. No, I haven't seen him since all this happened.
Huh. I just wondered what he was like.
Nice. He was nice.
What's his name? I'm sorry if this is difficult for you.
I don't know his name. I met him at this dance, right at the end. My date had gone off with someone else. I was drunk. It was almost a mutual thing because Renee was looking for Heather and Heather was looking for Renee, as it turned out. And it was very emotional. I mean, it was a very emotional scene that we had when we got together. It was lovely. But Renee didn't tell anybody. Didn't tell Christy, didn't tell Eunice, Christy's mother, and didn't tell Floyd, her son. So that caused all kind of problems at a later stage because when Heather met Floyd, they didn't know they were half brother and sister, and Renee should have told them.
During the time when she was getting to know her mother again, she met this very charismatic young man who happened to be Floyd, who ended up being her half-brother. And they had kind of started, flirtation and a bit of, not a liaison or anything like that, but they were definitely really attracted to each other.
Christy, Eunice, Farah, this is Heather.
Hello.
Hello. Floyd, this is Heather.
Champagne, Heather?
Yes?
Champagne?
Sorry.
Relax, doesn't matter. Farah, give us a hand with these glasses, will you?
Floyd?
Floyd. It's nice to meet you. I'm Heather.
I see Floyd and Heather very much as a Romeo and Juliet story. It is a story of passion, of intense love, of a situation, of most difficult situations, but the family can't have them together. They can't be together, yet they want to be together, which is incredibly sad because they truly loved each other. They were the loves of their lives.
Renee was disgusted. Renee was absolutely disgusted. And she couldn't tolerate it. She really didn't.
Realising the relationship can never work, Heather leaves for England.
How could you leave without telling me?
If I told you, you'd have tried to come with me.
Yeah. Well, either you stay, or I'm coming with you.
Try and fix things up with Renee. She's really hurt. You have to let me go, please. This is hard enough.
Let her go.
I can't.
You can.
With wife number 3 gone, Leo's life is turned upside down when a holiday romance follows him back to Carrigstown.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Thank you. Will I tell him I'm staying here?
What, here?
Well, I have nowhere else to go. I do have some money, but not much. It will be all go if I go to the hotel. And my family wouldn't be worried if they knew I'm staying here with you. They'll like you so much.
Well, okay, yeah. Well, I suppose, yeah. Just for one night, okay. So, just till you get yourself organised.
Thank you.
He fell for this woman and then didn't realise that. Like here now is a completely different kind of a person to Pauline. And this woman wanted something and she was going to get it no matter what.
Yeah, well, you were supposed to be with me, right?
And you were supposed to be with me, but no. You start talking to this other woman and make me look stupid.
Yeah, well, she went after 5 minutes. You stayed with him for nearly an hour.
To teach you a lesson.
Yeah, drinking his drink, behaving like a floozy.
And I do it again if you don't show me the respect.
Oh, God. Lana.
Take me.
Lana, you're the sexiest woman I've ever seen.
Prove it.
But the most dramatic story involves abusive husband Marty Halpin and wife Tessa's belief that he has changed, despite warnings from her son Damien.
I am confused, because the man I fell in love with a lifetime ago is back. He's changed.
People like that don't change.
But he was right about you all along, wasn't he? And he is not a child anymore, Marty, do you understand? He won't hide in his bedroom crying while you kick and beat me. Not anymore, do you understand? He will sort you good and proper if you so much as lay a hand on me. Get out, you bastard! Get out! Get out! 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 And don't you ever come back here again!
Shut up! Shut up!
Oh,
just shut up! Shut up!
Oh, Jesus, Mary! Oh, Jesus! Oh, Jesus!
Whatever happened to Damien?
I know!
What's that? Mom? 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 Mom!
Oh, Christ!
Mom!
Oh, Jesus!
I joined the community of Carrigstown 5 years ago, playing Seamus McAleer. And we're talking about 2004, you know, the boom was at its height. So the idea of being a millionaire and being a property developer and being a tycoon and all, it was kind of currency at the time. So I kind of saw myself in that sort of mould, you know.
3, 2, 1, action.
You've got people who really believe that you're rich, you know what I mean? Well, if you're an actor on television, people believe you're rich anyway, which, as we know, is a complete fiction. But there's also people who think because you play a rich character that you're wealthy. And then there's a lot of people attracted by the power of wealth. He's a totally lonely man. I mean, all he has is his money and his power and his quest for more money and more power. But really, he really hasn't got much in his life, you know.
Stand by to rehearse then, please. 3, 2, 1, action.
Mr. McAleer, this isn't a hotel. You can't just come and go.
I'm not an invalid. Now, you're going to discharge me, because either way I'm leaving.
Cut, and we'd like to go one more time.
By 2004, Barry was now living with Sorcha, a teacher in his school.
His relationship with Sorcha was going along. They seemed to be getting on very well, very happy. She, I think, looking back on it and looking at it, like, I don't know if she was as committed to him as he was to her, like, I mean, so that was a problem there.
Hello there.
Hello again.
Oh, you know each other?
Not by name.
Oh, in that case, this is Ross O'Rourke. Yeah, nice to see you again.
Take a seat.
Thanks. Give him a couple of days, see if he's up to it.
Fine.
Everything okay?
What, me? Oh, I'm fine. It's just I get this way before giving a class.
Then I'll interrupt you no further. See you later.
Yeah, okay.
Every time he got close to happiness, something happened and he was shaking around again. And then he'd have to start back at the bottom again and go right through it again, up the hill again, like, you know what I mean? So there was that kind of thing. And I think with the Sorcha story, they had it that this was it.
Sorcha begins an affair with a young pupil, Ross, and Barry is the loser once again.
Sorry.
How far down in the gutter are you? He's only a kid, for Christ's sake. And you told me lie after lie, day after day. Isn't that right?
It wasn't like that.
Every time I was kissing you, all you were thinking about was when you could see him again.
No.
Isn't that right?
Please.
And then you needed a good hot session with me before you could hack a weekend away with boring old Barry. Isn't that right? Well?
And then it goes downhill very rapidly. He accidentally ran over Ross in the car one night. And there's a whole lot of stuff happening. And this culminated in him having a breakdown. And I remember that story, you know, I say the breakdown in particular, because it was quite intense at the time now, you know what I mean? Yeah, it was quite a heavy trip to go on.
What do you do to pass the time in this place?
Read.
When Barry is in hospital, he meets up with Annette, an alcoholic solicitor, and they become close.
No wonder everyone's cracked.
You don't want to go saying that in front of the rest of them. Might upset them.
Here we go.
Great.
Bacon sandwiches all around.
I'm okay, thanks, Floyd.
Jimmy Doyle is moving on and getting married to Robin.
It looks like the stuff that came out of that Skoda last week.
What are you on a diet for?
Well, I have to finish my wedding dress, Jimmy.
A mechanic with an eating disorder.
Did you go to the doctor last week?
What? Of course I did.
You don't mind me checking, so.
What?
I'm going to call the doctor and make sure you went last week.
Do you not believe me?
Yeah, hello. Could you put me through to Dr. Brendan Daly in Carrigstown?
Jimmy, stop it! Jimmy, stop it! It's confidential, Brendan.
Yeah, and I tell him I'm your fiancé and that I'm worried about you. Now, you've been lying to me for weeks now, and I can't help you because you won't let me.
Will you just stop it, okay? I didn't go. I didn't go, all right?
And I promise to love, cherish.
The marriage goes ahead, but it's never really a match made in heaven. Ross recovered from the car crash, and while babysitting for Harry and Dolores, initiates a tragic storyline that leads to 3 deaths in Carrigstown.
I'm telling you, there's colour coming back into her cheeks. Can you see it? And her breathing is back.
She'd taken tablets, tablets that had been left by babysitters. They went to great lengths to get these people in London to make a life-size figurine of Jessica, and everything was very eerie and strange. You know, doing scenes with this doll. She was in a coma in the hospital, and it was touch and go, but looking very bad. So there was a period of hope, if you like, and there was, you know, that desperate hanging on to hope, and eventually the devastation of her losing her life.
Nurse!
What's happening? Please, wait outside. Get Dr. Kinsley and get a crash trolley in here.
Yeah, but I want to stay, please.
Please, it's best if you wait outside.
I'm afraid it's only a matter of time.
Oh, Jesus, no, don't you say that. Tell him, Harry, say something, Harry, please, tell him.
How long? Tonight. Maybe tomorrow.
Oh, God. Oh, don't let this happen again.
How you work your way through death of a child particularly. Those are huge issues for both of them. And I think it's very interesting how it can either pull people together or create a chasm that neither can fill for the other.
Just a few more minutes, Harry, please. Just a few more minutes.
Dolores, you have to let these men do their job now.
It's okay.
No, it's not okay.
Harry then was so angry with this boy. He went after him and he wanted to inflict some damage. You know, he wanted him to know what he had done.
You killed my daughter.
No, look. I didn't even know I lost.
You were in my house that night, weren't you?
It was an accident. I didn't even know. Okay, just back away.
Don't tell me to back away.
Look, man, I'm sorry. Okay, I didn't put that thing down.
You know what you done to us. She was 3 years of age. Harry, Scott, enough! Not enough.
The fact that he had taken somebody's life was too much to handle. And then there was a court case coming up about whether he was possibly going to go down for murder. And he decided that he just couldn't face it. He just couldn't face it. It all got on top of him. And Dolores, I suppose, so lost in her own pain, she wasn't able to salvage him, you know. So he committed suicide. So then she had that tragedy to deal with.
I think I love you.
In 2005, Heather returns from London, now married to Brendan Daly, a doctor. But it's not long before Floyd lets the cat out of the bag.
What's on your mind? Your wife. What are you laughing at? Before you came along, Heather was with me. And you know something? We were in love. We were crazy about each other.
Ultimately, he is absolutely in love with her, but he was always a bounce for her. He was never the most important element of her life.
I'm sorry.
Or maybe the real reason why we're back here is because you still want Floyd.
He's always loved and loved as hard as he possibly could in this story, and he was caught between a brother and a sister whose bond and love was much stronger than he could ever offer.
Carol's son Lorcan marries newcomer Ali, a tough girl from the wrong side of the tracks.
He turned out all right, didn't he, Lorcan?
Yeah, we did, Carol.
Do you consent to be my wife?
I do. She's from Ballymun and she grew up in the flats. Her dad kind of exited the picture early on. She's got about 5 siblings. She's the eldest. So she kind of grew up looking after all of the siblings. So in some ways she's really mature, but in others she kind of left a lot behind. She left school behind at 13, and that's something that she's a huge chip on her shoulder about.
Excuse me, would you have a few cents, please?
And another new character, the homeless Cleo Collins, arrives in town.
Cleo?
I did an audition for the part of Cleo. I auditioned previously, the year before, for the part of Ali, and didn't get that audition and completely forgot about Fair City. And a year later I got a phone call offering me a 6-week part, and I had just started 6th year in school, so leaving cert year. The kind of parts that I had gone for were sort of girl next door, sort of the girlfriends, the pretty little girlfriends to come in and play. So I was assuming that I was going to be someone's girlfriend, so I went out and got my hair done and got this script, and the first line that I read when I opened the script was, "Spare change, mister." Could you spare a few euro?
Sorry, you know.
Please. I haven't had any breakfast. She came in kind of to wreak havoc with Dolores' life. Dolores started working in the shelter, doing charity work, and Cleo arrived in down the stairs, soaking wet because it was lashing rain outside, asking for a bed. And Dolores was all kind of feeling sorry for her, and as she was, and gave her a bed. And then eventually, after a couple of nights of staying in the shelter, Dolores decided, I'm gonna take her and I'm gonna look after her, because she's young and she's out in the streets on her own and doing the kind of the goodwill thing, and took her in. And then Cleo robbed her blind about 3 times.
In 2006, after many long years of marriage to the solid but unexciting Christy, Renee gets her head turned by the smooth-talking Bob Charles.
Christy, I'm Bob. Delighted to meet you. Thanks for having us over to dinner like this.
Hi, you're very welcome.
The synopsis of Bob that I was given was that he was somebody who had been living on his wits most all of his life, outside of the country, either in the UK or in New York, and had grown up on the streets in a way, where you've got to graft and where you've got to be on your toes and very alert and very aware. And some days you win and some days you lose. Renee, an incredible evening. You are an elegant and a beautiful hostess. I hope you realise how lucky you are.
She wasn't attracted to him at the beginning, and there was no, it wasn't intentional. I mean, poor Renee, she just found herself suddenly infatuated by this man, and he was exciting where Christy was boring. He wore business suits. Christy wore multicoloured jumpers with all kinds of designs on them, and suddenly she saw this man and she fell for him and he fell for her, and they fell in love.
I'm so glad we're together.
Eunice had seen Renee and Bob kissing in the beer garden at McCoy's, and she kept this information to herself. She wanted to give Renee a chance to get out of the relationship and not break Christy's heart.
You were with him, weren't you? The window salesman?
Yeah. Yes, I was with Bob last night.
Look at you. after lying to your husband and spending the night in another man's bed.
I love Bob.
You just stopped loving Christy one day, is that it?
No, it's not like that at all. I tried. I really tried to keep away from Bob.
Oh, I'm sure you did. Yeah.
No, I couldn't. I love him. I love him. And I want to be with him. And I will.
There's a lot of women out there who have said to me, you know, Christy's lovely, but he's so boring. You know, I can understand why Renee would go for Bob, because he is that bit of excitement, and that little bit of danger always has an excitement towards it, you know.
Hiya, back, finally. What's the matter? Has something happened with Sandra's ma?
No, she's fine.
Christy is a man who had a simple ambition in life, and that was to marry Renee. That was it. It was all of his energies were dedicated towards marrying Renee. And when he finally got his dream, much against his expectations, that was it. His ambitions were over. What is it?
Christy, I didn't think I'd be telling you this in the middle of the shop, but I'm leaving you.
You're leaving me?
Yeah.
Ma! Why are you leaving? What have I done?
Oh, no, Christy, I haven't done anything. I've fallen in love.
Fallen in love?
I'm sorry, Christy. I don't want to hurt you. I'm going inside. I'm going to live with Bob. It's Bob, Christy. I'm sorry. Say something. I'm sorry, Christy. I really